So let's start with the numbers firstly. And I would like to tell you that 13.3 lakh, that's how many students or Indian students precisely were studying outside the country as of 2024, as per the Ministry of External Affairs RTI disclosure. Context is that this data is from 2024 and we are sitting in 2026. So the actual number today must be certainly high, right? So the trend hasn't been reversed. If anything, it's keep going in the same direction. But here's what matters even with 2024 numbers. In 2019, this figure was around like 7.7 lakh. That's 73% jump in just 5 years. This is a mass movement. And mass movements have patterns and those patterns have consequences. So that's what this entire report is about. So we'll discuss about the cost now. And as you can see the slide, it's around 40 to 60 lakhs. That's basically how much a student spends. It could be tuition, rent, food, flights, some miscellaneous costs and other things. And almost nobody pays this from savings, isn't it? Most families take, like either a loan or some mortgage their house or, their land. So surprising part is like EMI start even before the student like lands a job. Compare that to what an average Indian family earns in a year. This is like 5 to 8 times that just on one degree, like for one kid. So I should say that this is one of the biggest financial decisions a family will ever make and bigger than most people treat it. And yet you can see that most families make this decision based on a gut feeling, like, or maybe because like a neighbor did it, or maybe because it just feels the right thing to do. That's a problem. That's a mindset that we need to change. 13.35 lakh students are going, right? And like around 50 lakh each. So if you basically calculate around how much would it be, 6.7 crores, as you can see, lakh crores rupees in the foreign degree right now. That number is about same as India's entire annual education budget. Except this isn't government money. This is a family money, loans, savings, mortgages. So all of it, it's riding on one bet. Now, the point isn't to say stop going, like I never intend to say that. The point is decision this big deserves more than just a feeling. It requires proper planning. So as you can see, UK 140 applicants for one job opening. It used to be around like 15, 2018. So you can understand how brutal the competition is currently. If you go to Canada, 71% of visa rejection rates for Indian students just in 2025. Now, this rejection happens after you pay the fee as well. Like you pay your GIC and you pay your 1 year tuition fee. And then USA, it's an open secret. Like the entire approvals for the Indians have dropped to 44%. Like that's the steepest drop that India has ever witnessed. And Germany, only 30% of international graduates they stay back, and the rest have to come back. The problem, language. It's required that you need to have a B2 level minimum, but people who go from here, they rely on English language and they see to what extent they survive. So I wanted to tell you that the doors aren't shut. I'm trying to say here is like earlier things used to be a little, like easy or feasible to get into, but now things are getting more harder. And a lot of students are still using 2019 data to make decisions in 2026. Now, that is something that you need to think about. So you may be asking, what's the solution? Well, I have to say that the simple idea that changes how you think about all of this lies in a beautiful book called So Good That They Can't Ignore You. So you see, the author of the book, like talks about something called as in career capital. It's like two things. See, one is a rare skill, something the market actually needs and can't easily find. So the degree won't help, like it's always about it's the skill. It's not even about the title. So it's a real capability, I must say. And secondly, it's a proof of work. So evidence that you've actually done it, a project or a portfolio or something someone can verify in 10 minutes that you deserve this job. So a degree alone is neither of those things. Like many people think like if I pursue this degree, I'm automatically going to land into the job. That's not how things work out. See, a degree, I should say, is like an entry ticket. Like career capital is what gets you chosen once you are inside. So most students spend almost like 2 years, and they spend around like 50 lakhs building just a ticket. Like very few spend that time building what we call it as the career capital. Degree can only get you into the room, and that room is filled with people with similar degrees, similar skills, similar resumes, projects done in the same way. So how different are you going to be? Is what you built before even you arrived there. See, the project you did on your own, that's important, not the project that, like that you bought it somewhere, or, like you relied on the team to do it. What exactly the kind of problem that you solved through your project? I'm talking about that project. The thing that usually makes the recruiter to ask more questions about. My conclusion is that, like MS or master's program can get you into the room. So it does not get you into the job. So you just need to come out of that bubble. So when you decided to invest around like 40 to 60 lakhs, so just make sure that at least you answer these four questions. First question is, what skills does the job market in the country actually want right now? And how does hiring actually work there in reality? So what's the realistic return on investment? Think from the best case, the base case, and like the worst case as well. So does this student profile actually stand out, or does it look like everyone else? So the worst case happens more often than people think. So that's why I would say that, don't go blind, just go prepared. So this 2 by 5 theory is based on profile, presence, references, environment, and behavior. Like for example, if the profile, if it has same degree, same skills, same projects, and like it looks almost identical to everyone else on the paper, like resume, you're out. Talk about the presence, like you can't be found online professionally, like either in LinkedIn, or you've not done any projects online, or you have not shown your GitHub and other things, right? So there's no way that you could prove that like you're doing something relevant, like, based on your academia. So references, like if there's no one to vouch for you, like on your resume, you're out. So environment, you stayed in the Indian student bubble, like same dorm, same group, same circle, same language, same culture, like you have not expanded yourself to, like know people from the other culture, other traditions, and, like other international borders. Then you will be stuck, like you won't be able to make like very good network as well. And the last thing is behavior. See, you waited for campus placements, like if you're entirely relying on campus placements, let the campus placements come, and like that is how I'll get the job. That's not how it works. Like let the university handle the job search. Like that's basically what the mindset of many students could be. That's why they don't end up. Like if a student like joined, the first thing what he can do is like he should start like researching about the jobs from the day one itself. That's exactly the kind of people like who usually are not cut from the competition. So with this, you have seen the numbers. Now you know the patterns, you know the killers. So now one question, where do you stand? That's why we've created something called as an ivscore.in or ivy score. It's a free diagnostic tool. You don't have to pay anything. Like it simply tells you exactly what your profile looks like to the current market right now. So that's step one. Go to ivscore.in, upload your files, and know your numbers. So if the report raises questions and you want to talk to, like someone who has seen hundreds of profiles like yours, then you can come to step two. That is us, right? So this is Neil, and I run Ivy Lead, and ivscore.in is just a proprietary product of Ivy Lead. And you can reach out if you really want a real conversation. And again, I'd say build first, travel second, but first, know where you stand.